The Ravens offseason, the organization has already seen a lot of change. John Harbaugh once again identified a homegrown talent.
The Ravens offseason workout program got started today, and there was a different energy that you could feel. One of those guys was quarterback Lamar Jackson. How badly he wants to help the Ravens take that next step.
It all came together for the Ravens in 2023, combining swarming defense with MVP quarterback play from Lamar Jackson, but they still couldn't get past the Kansas City Chiefs. It was the team's first conference championship appearance in over a decade, and despite some turnover in personnel, they are primed and ready to run it back and go one better in 2024. The signing of Derrick Henry is a Madden-style dream team move, and his presence alongside Lamar Jackson may just make this offense completely unstoppable. So it is no doubt that the Baltimore Ravens offense and just the entire team as a whole is looking scary, and we're going to break down how they may be able to go on a championship run this year in this video. Now, as is the case with any good NFL team with a top-level quarterback, the Baltimore Ravens have faced some salary cap field turnover this offseason. Jadeveon Clowney and Patrick Queen have departed the defensive unit, and there have been several changes along the offensive line, but it is nothing that Baltimore can't handle, particularly given the arrival of a certain King Henry.
On HQ, as Derrick Henry has agreed to a deal with the Ravens, according to our Jonathan Jones. That deal reportedly for $16 million over 2 years.
Also, the team still has the second longest tenured head coach in the NFL in John Harbaugh, and a truly elite defensive core of Justin Madubuike, Roquan Smith, and Kyle Hamilton. Like, as a whole, this team is still very scary. Now, if we just start with the offensive side of the ball, the signing and just bringing in of Derrick Henry is something that should not only excite Ravens fans as an entire fan base, but also should completely terrify the NFL as a whole. As we all know, the King earned his crown by being one of the most dominant playmakers in the entire NFL over the last decade. His 8 seasons in the NFL have produced 9,502 yards and 90 touchdowns on the ground, earning him 4 Pro Bowls, a first-team All-Pro, and a second-team All-Pro. His impressive career is highlighted by a remarkable 2020 campaign in which he pounded home 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns at an average clip of 5.4 yards a carry. For his efforts that year, he won the Offensive Player of the Year award and was ranked 10th in the NFL's top 100 list.
2020 AP Offensive Player of the Year is Derrick Henry.
This dude is an absolute beast of a running back with a relentless motor who gets harder and harder to tackle as the game and the seasons progress.
Don't see guys who can move how he moves at his size.
And the idea of him running at you in December and January is a thing of nightmares, making him the perfect man to spearhead the Baltimore Ravens rushing attack. And like, as we all know, the AFC is extremely tough, but having Derrick Henry almost seems like a cheat code in the later seasons part of the year. Like, not only because of the size of this just ginormous man, but because of just how good, or just them having the best rushing attack in the NFL. Baltimore's 31.5 rushing attempts per game led the entire NFL in 2023, as did their 156.4 yards per game on the ground and 5 yards per carry. Like, as we all know, the Ravens' identity has been their run game ever since Lamar Jackson entered the league in 2018, ranking in the top 3 in rushing yards in every single season since. Jackson has of course been the driving force behind this, supported in recent years by such names as Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Kenyon Drake, Devonta Freeman, and Latavius Murray. Like, all of those guys are solid running backs for sure, but leagues below the quality of Derrick Henry. With him in the backfield, the Ravens have the best rushing tandem in the entire NFL, is what I'd say. Like, Henry's 8,268 rushing yards are the most in the NFL since 2018, and the 5,258 tallied by Lamar Jackson are the most by a quarterback during the same stretch. Like, truly have fun trying to guard that, defenses. Whether Jackson is keeping it for himself, tucking it into Henry's belly, or even appearing to drop back for a pass, you'll want to pay plenty of respect to the run game. Supporting Henry are Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, and rookie Ali Rasheen, which is an exciting group of talent in that running back room behind Henry. Hill has been with the team for 4 years now and is by no means a game breaker. He is, however, a handy, versatile back who can offer a good change of pace. He's coming off his best year in 2023 when he averaged 4.6 yards per carry to collect 387 yards and 3 touchdowns, while also being a useful option in the receiving game, posting another 206 yards and a score. Keaton Mitchell, on the other hand, though, that dude has a serious cause, or at least probability, of being an actual game breaker in this scheme. Because, I mean, in the 6 games he was featured during his rookie year, year, Mitchell posted 396 yards and 2 touchdowns at a whopping 8.4 yards per carry. It all started with a 138-yard, 1-touchdown effort from 9 carries against the Seahawks last year, setting up a very impressive stretch where he instantly became one of the most exciting young playmakers in the league. His burning speed combines with explosiveness in a smooth change of direction to make him a nightmare to catch. Unfortunately though, what appeared to be a remarkable breakout year was cut short by a brutal ACL tear, which will keep him on the bench for the first half of the season. It remains to be seen whether he can retain the explosiveness that made him so special, but if he can, this is a seriously exciting running back stable for Baltimore. You have the power of Henry, the versatility with Hill, and the speed and elusiveness with Mitchell. The increased fear of stopping the run is only going to help Jackson improve in the passing game. And last year, he managed a very tidy and efficient 3,678 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions in 2023, posting a 67.2% completion rate. And Henry's presence alone should help these numbers improve a bit, especially when you consider that Zay Flowers should be more of a threat after a promising rookie season. Flowers posted a healthy 858 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2023, also showing up in fine fashion in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City. However, it will more likely be a game he wants to forget because of his fatal fumble on the goal line.
Jackson to Flowers. He dives. The ball came out. It's recovered by Kansas City.
Nevertheless, though, Flowers showcased elite movement skills in his rookie year, showing off some good footwork and incredible twitchiness in his routes. And now that he has a full year of NFL action to refine his route running craft and improve his overall game, he should be able to become Lamar Jackson's first true number 1 wide receiver since Marquise Brown in 2021. And honestly, I think it's absolutely fair to argue that Flowers' ceiling is honestly far higher than Brown's ever was. And not only that, but Flowers is just a great complement to Mark Andrews, who is also one of Jackson's favorite targets. The two of those guys should probably dominate the passing game this year. When the Ravens are trying to pass the ball, it honestly should be to either Andrews or Flowers, and I do fully expect one of those guys to be dominating the stat lines when we do see the Ravens passing the ball. But they also do have guys like Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely, and Tez Walker, who all can make a splash this year too. But of that trio that I just named, honestly for me, I think Tez Walker has the most intriguing name out of those three. When we really break it down, this dude has a dream combination of size and speed and flashed brilliance at times in college, but struggled with drops and leaves a lot to be desired as a route runner. If the Ravens can get him up to speed and refine some of his weaknesses, he could be the perfect complement to this offense. The idea of having Tez Walker on one side, Zay Flowers on the other, and then Mark Andrews up the middle as the tight end, while having Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the frickin' backfield, who on earth is going to be able to stop this explosive and just scary offense? Even if Tez Walker never emerges as a true NFL receiver, there is plenty to excite Ravens fans here. The increased attention that opposing defenses will have to give to Henry will open up more lanes for Jackson and create more space for his receivers. Put it this way, the MVP from 2023 should have even more fun in 2024. He has exactly what he needs to get Baltimore over the hump and finally deliver the Super Bowl that the talented roster deserves. The one minor concern is the offensive line though, which lost Kevin Zeitler, John Simpson, and Morgan Moses this offseason. However, Tylen Linderbaum remains as one of the best centers in the NFL, and the additions of Rodgers Rosengard in the draft and Josh Jones via free agency will help restore some stability.
The Ravens are without Morgan Moses, and they get their right tackle, Roger Rosengarten, into the second round here.
Rosengarten was a popular pick in the second round with draft analysts, and Jones offers experience and versatility. He can fill in at tackle until Rosengarten is ready, and then offer depth at both the tackle and guard positions. And the biggest changes, honestly, for me, or just honestly this entire Ravens team as a whole, isn't even because of players, as more so because of people that they lost on their staff. Defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald departed this offseason, earning himself a well-deserved head coaching job after proving a dominant defense in 2023, and the man tasked with replacing him is Zach Orr, a former Ravens linebacker who earned a second-team All-Pro in 2016 before an injury forced him into early retirement. From there, Orr became a defensive analyst with the team in 2017, going on to upgrade to the linebacker coach in 2022, and then eventually defensive coordinator this year. It is an internal hire which will help with the continuity, but the lack of experience makes this an interesting move to track. On the plus side though, the lack of experience will be massively helped by Baltimore having a defensive core that is just unrivaled in the NFL. Like, I mean, Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton alone are all among the best in the league at their position, and even when you add in Justin Madubuike, it makes it even crazier. Madubuike was the team's offseason priority, inking the big defensive tackle to a 4-year, $98 million contract. It was a 4th-year breakout that did it for him, posting a career-best 13 sacks, which led the team, and forced 2 fumbles. His 33 quarterback hits were 14 more than anyone else on the team. Lining up behind him is Roquan Smith, who recently landed 2nd overall on PFF's top linebacker list, and lining up behind him is Kyle Hamilton, who is PFF's 2nd highest rated safety. Both players are supremely talented all-around athletes, contributing in every phase of the game. They combine with Madubuike to form an elite trio at the heart of the Ravens defense, supported brilliantly by other big names such as Owe, Marlon Humphrey, and Kyle Van Noy. Joining the defensive roster are Nate Wiggins and Adisa Isaac, who arrived via the draft. Wiggins was the team's first-round selection and a popular pick as a top 3 cornerback.
The Baltimore Ravens select Nate Wiggins, defensive back, Clemson.
This young man feels like a Ravens pick out of Clemson, is headed to Baltimore.
He's a fast and fluid mover with good coverage and ball skills, suggesting a long career as a perimeter corner is on the cards. And if he settles into life in the NFL well, the Ravens could quickly boast one of the most daunting secondaries in the league.
This Ravens secondary is going to be top-notch. This group has been dominant through the first few practices of training camp.
Isaac will add some firepower coming off the edge following a fruitful career in one of college football's best defenses at Penn State. Mike McDonald and linebacker Patrick Queen are unfortunate names to be without in 2024.
Wednesday, Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald was named the Seattle Seahawks' new head coach.
But there is more than enough talent to ensure this is still a top unit. Their 16.2 points conceded per game were the fewest in the NFL in 2023. And Zach Gore as a continuity replacement should be able to maintain his defensive status as one of the most intimidating in the NFL. Now, of course, one of the biggest assets that the Ravens have is the presence of their head coach, John Harbaugh. He has overseen 11 playoff berths across his 16-year tenure as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. And he has overcame plenty of changes to his coaching personnel over the time. He certainly knows how to win, and this current roster is as talented as he has ever had in recent years. In his 16 years as head coach, Harbaugh's defense has ranked outside the top 10 in points conceded only 4 times, while his offense has only been outside the top 10 5 times. The great head coach is one of the best to ever play the game, and he will be desperate to add another Super Bowl victory to his resume. Harbaugh will be kicking himself that this team couldn't capitalize on going up against what appeared to be a weakened Kansas City side last year, but he has exactly what he needs to go one better this year. With a 2-time MVP winner at quarterback, a future Hall of Famer running back alongside him, and a defense littered with talent, the Ravens are a force to be reckoned with in the AFC. And don't get me wrong, Kansas City remains the team to beat, but they are embarking on something no team has ever achieved in the history of the NFL before, and are doing so without L'Jarius Sneed this year. Behind them, you have a long list of talented AFC teams who all have question marks hanging over them. And I mean, the Houston Texans are a trendy pick right now, but they have just gotten used to winning again, and there's no guarantee that they will pick up exactly where they left off in 2023, or that they even can handle the pressure of a deep playoff run.
The Houston Texans have made some bold moves this offseason, aiming to elevate their game and position themselves as serious contenders in the NFL.
The Bengals and Jets both have pretty talented rosters, but can't be sure with what state their quarterback is going to be returning in, and the Buffalo Bills have seen a long list of veteran talent head for the door. Miami also boasts an exciting offense which ranked 3rd in both points and yards last season, but their struggles in cold weather and in the playoffs are well documented. And look, I mean, I think the bottom line right now is that besides the Chiefs and them just being, having the best quarterback, the Baltimore Ravens have the best talented roster in the NFL, or at least in the AFC, I'd say. They have the brain power needed as head coach and all the talent they could ask for on the field. The addition of Derrick Henry cannot be understated. He is not your typical offseason signing. Henry is the perfect piece to complete the puzzle that Baltimore has been working on over recent years. His physicality and relentless approach could unlock a new level of offensive play that produces bigger and better results for Baltimore, and one one where they may finally win the elusive Super Bowl. But I want to know what you guys think. Drop down in the comments below. Give me a record prediction for the Ravens. For me, I think they're going to win at least 13 games. I mean, like, this roster has no reason not to win 13 games, especially when you have the head coach in John Harbaugh. Yes, I get that they did lose their defensive coordinator, but I mean, like, just the talent on this roster. If they stay healthy and Lamar Jackson doesn't get injured like he has in, you know, recent years or over the past couple of years, I don't see why they can't make a Super Bowl run and make it there. Like, they have to be. Everybody's talking about Houston, but I think Baltimore might be the best team in the AFC. So drop down below what you guys think. If you guys have not, make sure you join my Discord where we are always talking football. We're going to be doing our dynasty, talking about fantasy football that we're going to be running over there too, and a pick'em pool too. So make sure you join that if you have not in the description below. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.